The security man grabbed the old woman by the arm and began dragging her toward the gate. She did not scream. She did not curse. She only called one name. Amaka. Amaka, my daughter. Please, it is me. The crowd near the entrance of Eco Hotel froze. Guests in expensive agbatas and cocktail dresses turned their heads. Someone lowered their champagne glass. A phone came up. Then another. Inside the ballroom, Amaka Okafor heard the commotion before she saw it. She was standing near the floral archway, laughing softly at something her fiancé's aunt had just said, her gold dress catching the chandelier light in a way that made her look like she belonged there. Like she had always belonged there. Then her name cut through the music again. Amaka. My daughter. Tell them. Tell them who I am. The sound of that voice did something strange to Amaka's face. Just for a second, something flickered behind her eyes. Fear. Recognition. Something older and deeper than both. She walked toward the entrance slowly, with the careful composure of a woman who had practiced being calm her entire adult life. The old woman was still struggling. She was small, thin, wearing a faded Ankara blouse and a wrapper that had seen too many washes. Her sandals were the cheap rubber kind. Her gray hair was roughly pinned back. She looked like she had traveled a long way. She looked like she had been traveling toward this moment for years. When she saw Amaka come through the crowd, her whole face broke open with relief. Amaka. It is me. It is your mother. Tell them to let me in. The entire entrance went silent. Amaka stopped walking. She looked at the woman for a long, unbearable moment. The crowd held its breath. Then Amaka spoke. I don't know this woman. 3 seconds of pure silence. And then the night exploded. Before we go any further, if you are new here, please subscribe and turn on your notifications. Stories like this one are why this channel exists. Now let us go back to the beginning. Because to understand what happened at that entrance, you have to understand who Amaka Okafor really was, and how far she had traveled to become someone else. Amaka grew up in Agita, a quiet town in Imo State, in a house with a zinc roof that sang when it rained. Her mother, Mama Ngozi, was a woman who had buried a husband too early and raised a daughter alone on the earnings from a small provisions table at the local market. They were not poor in the way that breaks people. They were poor in the way that teaches people. Every morning, Mama Ngozi would wake before the sun, tie her wares together, and walk 40 minutes to her spot at the roadside. She sold Maggi cubes, seasoning powder, small sachet tomatoes, matches, and kerosene. She knew every customer by name and every customer knew her by the way she laughed, loud and full, like she had no reason not to. Amaka was her only child. Her only investment. Her only plan. You will go to university, Mama Ngozi told her, from the time Amaka was old enough to understand words. You will read big books and speak fine English and become somebody. And when you become somebody, everything I suffered will make sense. Amaka believed her. She read under lamplight when there was no electricity. She walked to school in the rain rather than miss a lesson. She won a scholarship to a secondary school in Owerri and came first in her set 3 years in a row. When the time came for university, Mama Ngozi did something that still makes people who know the story go quiet. She sold the land. It was the only land she owned. A small plot her late husband had left behind, worth not very much to anyone else, but worth everything to her. It was her security, her old age, her something to fall back on. She sold it without telling Amaka until after the forms had been submitted and the fees had been paid. You will pay me back by succeeding, she said, when Amaka cried. That is the only payment I need. Amaka went to the University of Lagos and she threw herself into that place like a woman escaping a fire and running towards something better at the same time. She was brilliant. Sharp. Magnetic. She joined the debate club, then the business association, then began doing small marketing consultancy pocket was not the same Amaka who walked across the stage at her graduation. By then, her accent was smooth. Her wardrobe was carefully selected. She had studied the way wealthy Lagosians moved, talked, ordered food in restaurants, greeted each other. She had practiced until it felt natural. Until the old version of herself felt like a role she had once played and set down. She did not go home for Christmas the year she got her first real job. She told Mama Ngozi she was too busy. The year after that, she sent money instead of coming. The year after that, the calls became shorter. The excuses more polished. She didn't block her mother. She just reduced her to occasional messages, to money transfers that were generous enough to quiet her own conscience, to a chapter of her life she had decided to close without ceremony. She didn't just leave the village. She erased it. By the time Amaka was 32, she was a marketing director at a mid-sized Lagos consultancy. She had a flat in Lekki Phase 1. She drove a Prado. She moved in circles where last names were dropped casually over dinner and your origin story was something you could choose to make romantic or simply leave out altogether. That was where she met Amaka Adeyemi. Amaka was everything the version of herself she had built wanted. Old Lagos money. Easy confidence. A family name that opened doors before you knocked. He was not cruel or arrogant. He was actually kind, in the way that men who have never struggled are sometimes kind, effortlessly, without having been tested. He fell genuinely in love with Amaka's intelligence, her drive, her quiet sophistication. His family was more careful. His mother, Chief Mrs. Adeyemi, was a woman who conducted due diligence on people the way banks conducted audits. She asked questions that sounded like conversation but were not. She noticed things. The way Amaka said certain words. The way she sometimes paused before answering where she grew up. The vagueness she employed whenever the topic of family came up. But Amaka was good. She had been practicing for years. The engagement happened on a rooftop in Victoria Island at sunset, and it was the kind of moment that photographs perfectly. Amaka said yes and smiled the smile of a woman who had arrived. The ring was significant. The family announcement dinner was attended by senators. The engagement party at Eco Hotel was the formal introduction. The Adeyemi family had invited 230 guests. This was the night Amaka would be presented as the future of their family name. Every detail had been arranged to project permanence, class, and belonging. It was the worst possible night for the past to arrive at the front gate wearing rubber sandals and an encore blouse. But that is exactly what Mama Ngozi did. She had not been invited. Of course she had not been invited. Amaka had not told Amaka that her mother existed in any meaningful way. She had mentioned once, briefly, that she had a mother in the village, that they were not close, that it was complicated. Amaka, who trusted him, had not pressed. Mama Ngozi had found out about the engagement the way village people always find out things. Someone saw a photo on social media. Someone's cousin knew someone who worked at the hotel. The news traveled in formal routes, person to person, until it reached an old woman at a roadside table in Agueda who had not heard her daughter's voice in almost a year. She did not call first. She had tried calling. The number had not been blocked but it rang and rang. She left voice messages that Amaka listened to and set down without responding. So Mama Ngozi packed a small bag, took a bus to Owerri, then another to Lagos, staying the night in a relative's single room in Mushin, and woke up the next morning with one purpose. I just want to see my daughter. She had been turned away at the gate twice already. She did not know the protocols, the names, the passwords of wealth. She only knew Amaka's name and the name Amaka had before she became someone else. The third time, she pushed past the security and called out, and the crowd turned, and Amaka came, and the whole terrible moment arrived. I don't know this woman. The security man looked at Amaka. Then at the old woman. He released her arms slowly. Mama Ngozi did not collapse. She did not wail. She stood very still and looked at her daughter with an expression that was worse than tears. It was recognition. The recognition of something she had feared for a long time but had kept refusing to believe. "Amaka," she said, quietly now. "It is me. It is your mother." "I don't know who you are," Amaka said, louder this time, for the crowd. "Please remove her from the premises." And that was when the phones really came out. The video went viral before midnight. By 2 o'clock in the morning, it was on 3 different Twitter timelines. By 6 a.m., 2 blogs had run the story with the headline, "Lagos marketing executive denies own mother at engagement party." By the time Amaka woke up that morning and reached for her phone, she had 412 notifications. The comments were not kind. Some people defended her. There were always people willing to construct elaborate theories about difficult mothers, about trauma, about things we don't know. But the majority of the comments were the kind that compound. The kind that stick. Amaka saw the video before she could explain it. He came to her apartment that afternoon with the quiet energy of a man who had been thinking for a long time before arriving. "Who was that woman, Amaka?" he asked. She tried. She told him the woman was unstable. That she had shown up at events before. That she was someone from her past who had decided to cause embarrassment. She told him she had no family in Lagos. She told him she was an only child raised by a distant relative who had since passed. Amaka listened. He did not interrupt. When she finished, he looked at her for a long time. "My mother's people are already asking questions," he said. "Amaka, I can handle this. Can you?" He left. He did not slam the door. That was almost worse. Now we need to talk about a man named Chief Benson Oduya. He was at the engagement party not because he was close to the Adeyemi family but because he was the kind of man who was invited everywhere and chose where to be seen. He was 64 years old, built 3 logistics companies from nothing, and was known in Lagos business circles as a man of almost supernatural memory. He remembered faces. He remembered kindnesses. 27 years earlier, Chief Benson Oduya had been a young man in very bad trouble. He had been traveling from Onitsha in a bus that lost control on a wet road between Owerri and Orlu. The bus overturned. He was trapped, semi-conscious, bleeding from his head, pinned by his seat. The other passengers who could walk scattered. No one stopped. A woman stopped. She was returning from market, carrying a tray on her head. She put the tray down. She called for help from a passing motorcycle man. She stayed with him, spoke to him, kept him awake, tore part of her wrapper to press against his head until other help came. She rode with him to the nearest hospital and did not leave until she was sure someone had taken his information. When he recovered enough to ask for her, he was told she had gone. He tried to find her afterward. He knew her first name. He knew she was from around Aguila. He knew she sold provisions. He had searched for years, off and on, the way people search for things they feel they owe. He saw her at the gate of Eco Hotel being dragged by a security man. He did not recognize her instantly. It had been 27 years. But something in the way she stood, the way she called that name with her whole body, something pulled at his memory. He stepped closer. He heard her say, "I am her mother." He watched the girl in the gold dress say, "I don't know you." He stood very still for a long time, putting pieces together. Then he went home and made some calls. By the following morning, Chief Benson Oduya's personal assistant had confirmed what he suspected. The old woman's name was Ngozi. She was from Aguila. She had a daughter she had sacrificed everything to send to university. That daughter's name before Lagos had been Amaka Ngozi. He had been looking for the mother. He had found the daughter instead. And the daughter had just looked at the woman who had saved his life and said, in front of 200 people, "I don't know you." Chief Oduya was not an emotional man. But he was a man of principle. He called Chief Mrs. Adeyemi the next day. He did not say much. He did not need to. He simply withdrew his commitment to a major port logistics contract that had been one of the crown jewels of the Adeyemi family's recent business expansion. He cited character concerns. He said nothing more than that. Within 48 hours, 2 other partners followed his lead. Business is a web. When one strand pulls, others feel it. Chief Mrs. Adeyemi called her son. Amaka called Amaka. The conversation was short. The engagement was over. 3 weeks later, the consultancy where Amaka worked announced a restructuring. Her position was eliminated. The managing director did not give reasons. He did not need to. Lagos is a city that rewards transformation and punishes humiliation in equal measure. The video had been seen by too many people. Her personal brand, the thing she had spent a decade constructing, was now the thing destroying her. She sat in her Lekki apartment, surrounded by the carefully selected furniture and the framed certificates and the evidence of the life she had built, and she felt something she had no word for. Not regret. Something older and colder than regret. She called her mother's number. It rang to voicemail. She tried the second number, the one belonging to a neighbor back home who sometimes passed the phone. The neighbor answered. There was a long pause when Amaka asked to speak to her mother. Your mother is not here, the neighbor said. She traveled when she came back from Lagos. Nobody knows exactly where she went. Amaka sat with the phone in her hand for a very long time. She began to make calls. She reached out to relatives she had stopped calling years ago, people who answered the phone with a wariness that told her they had heard what happened. Nobody knew where Mama Ngozi had gone. Or if they knew, they did not say. She drove to Agida herself 2 weeks later. The house was locked. The market table was empty. A woman who used to sell near her mother's spot told her, without looking at her, your mama was not well before she left. She had not been well for some time. Amaka stood on that roadside in a town she had worked her entire life to escape, and she felt the ground shift under her feet. It took another 3 weeks to find her. A cousin's contact. A pastor in a small town outside Nui who ran a quiet home for elderly people who had nowhere else to go. Mama Ngozi was there. She had gone there after returning from Lagos, quietly, without drama, without telling anyone except one old friend. She had taken sick sometime after her trip, nothing catastrophic, but her body had said, plainly, that it was tired. Amaka arrived on a Tuesday afternoon. Mama Ngozi was sitting outside in a plastic chair when she saw her daughter walk through the gate. She did not stand up. She looked at her for a long moment, then looked away. Amaka sat down on the ground in front of her. She did not calculate how it looked. She did not think about her dress or the dust or the people nearby who could see. She just sat on the ground and she began to cry. Not polished, controlled tears. The ugly, unraveling kind. The kind she had not allowed herself in years. For a long time, Mama Ngozi said nothing. Then she asked, in Igbo, quietly, simply. When I called your name, why didn't you answer me? Amaka could not answer immediately. There was no answer that was clean enough for that question. She tried anyway. She said she had been afraid. She said she had spent so long building something and she was terrified it would fall. She said she knew even in that moment, that what she was doing was wrong, and she did it anyway because she did not know how to stop being afraid. Her mother listened. Her face was not hard. It was something more complex than hard. It was the face of a woman who had loved someone completely and been handed something she did not know what to do with. I sold my land for you, Mama Ngozi said. I know, Mama. I was cold and I carried it. I was hungry and I carried it. I was laughed at when I struggled, and I carried it. Because I told myself, my daughter is going to be somebody. And when she becomes somebody, she will not forget where she came from. She paused. You forgot. Amaka pressed her forehead to her mother's knees and stayed there. "I am sorry," she said. "Mama, I am sorry. I am so sorry." They stayed like that for a long time. The sun moved. The sounds of the small compound continued around them, chickens, someone cooking, a radio faintly playing. The world went on, as it always does, indifferent to the size of what is being repaired between two people in a plastic chair in the dust. Mama Ngozi did not say she forgave her immediately. She was not that kind of woman. She did not perform emotions she hadn't yet arrived at. But she put her hand on the back of her daughter's head. And she left it there. It has been said that the things we run from do not disappear. They wait. With the patience of old women who have survived harder things than being ignored. They wait until we are stripped of everything we used to cover ourselves with, and then they are standing right there, asking us only to be seen. Amaka went back to her mother's village 2 more times that month. She began paying for the care home. She began calling every day. Some calls lasted only a few minutes. Some lasted longer. Chief Benson Oduya reached out to Amaka through a mutual contact. Not to punish her further, but to tell her the story. To tell her what her mother had done on a wet road outside Owerri 27 years ago. To tell her that he had been looking for that woman ever since. He helped arrange proper medical care for Mama Ngozi. He told Amaka, plainly, that he was not doing it for her. He was doing it for the woman who had once torn her wrapper to press against a stranger's head and stayed until help came. Amaka accepted that distinction. She has not rebuilt everything she lost. That is not how consequences work. The Adeyemi engagement is over. The Lekki apartment has been replaced by something smaller. The career is being reconstructed more slowly, more honestly, in a version that does not require anyone to be erased. But on Sunday afternoons now, there is a phone call. Sometimes from Lagos. Sometimes from beside a plastic chair in a compound outside Nui. 2 voices, finding their way back to a language they share, slower than before but more careful. In chasing everything the world promised her, she almost lost the one person who gave her everything before the world knew her name. The woman who sold her land. The woman who pressed her wrapper to a stranger's wound. The woman who called her name in a hotel lobby and refused to believe, even then, that the daughter she raised was truly gone. She was not gone. She had just been hiding. And it cost her everything to come back. If this story moved you, please like this video and leave a comment below. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you have not subscribed yet, do it now. Because this channel will never stop telling the stories that matter. We will see you in the next one.